Hello, hello. Welcome back to Unapologetically Wild with me, Kadi Sonntag. I hope you've had the most magical week. And today I'm excited to join you because one, happiness and also like new era, right? And I don't know if you're feeling this right now, but for me, there's a whole new way of me leading and being in business that is birthing right now. And it's actually so incredible. And why I want to talk into this because it is beautiful to see the journey that I have been on to get to this point. And I'm so grateful I got to share it with all of you. And I also would love you to reflect on your journey when you get the time and space to see how far you've come. But if you're in this with me right now, you understand how big this is, right? It's a whole new cycle, a whole new rebirth, right? And I know I've talked about this before, but this is in a different sense. It's almost like my business is dying. And if you've been listening, recently, it's the coming out of it being about fitness, right? I had my identity crisis around fitness. If you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, if you haven't, go back and listen to, not unsure which episode it is, but go back and listen to all of them and you'll find it. And so it's like that part of me in business is crumbling and it's now rebirthing this leadership, the energetics, just this pure excitement for what is coming next. And also it's a little bit scary, right? We know when we move into that next level of leadership, not only in our own lives, but with our clients, that it's scary and exciting and all the things, right? So I come today as this will be my last episode for this year. I've decided that I get to rebrand, recreate, come in fresh next year. And this is the last time I will be in your ears for 2025. So I love this because what I want to talk about today is the fact of we're always growing, we're always changing. There's always new things coming and going, right? This comes with people. This comes with, evolutions of ourselves. And what I'm so grateful for is the fact that there's so many beautiful people that have come with me on this evolution, even people that, may not be as spiritual as I am, like friends of mine, or may not, be in this world with me in self-development. But I'm so grateful that I have friends that love me so much and family that have come with me on this journey and are continuing to move with me. Even if sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, well, my friends actually, bless them, I'll only say that if it's really hectic, but actually come with me even if it just doesn't, they don't get it in all of its facets. And what I want to talk about in this is the other day I got the most incredible opportunity, right? Because I'm in my magnetic era and I'm magnetizing all these beautiful opportunities to me. Like I don't do anything to receive them apart from just be me. And that is the most pure part, right? Being authentically yourself and magnetizing everything you want to you of fucking course, right? Because that's who I am. And that is the woman I'm becoming. And so the most beautiful part about that is I got to speak the other day in a spiritual church in Newcastle. Now, I would never have thought to ever reach out to a spiritual church and go and talk, right? And this is the beauty of when you're in your magnetic area, when you're becoming and you're magnetizing everything to you. You don't need to know what it looks like, right? We're always trying to work out how, what, all these pieces. But the universe is literally showing me every day what it looks like. And I don't have to do anything except be completely me. And it is when you show up in your authenticity is when people find things for you and they'll put you forward. And I'm so grateful because my neighbor, Anna, she's so beautiful. Shout out. She's listening. She has a beautiful person that she worked with, Jenny, and they have people come and speak as speakers, right? And I've put out to the universe, you've been listening to my podcast, that I'm going to be speaking on big stages, and we know this. And so I don't need to know how that looks, but the first opportunity that came through community was speaking at my old school and that leadership Remembrance Day speech. And the second opportunity I've had since I've been in Newcastle is speaking at a spiritual church. Two of those things I would never have imagined for myself, right? And this is the beauty of the journey when you align with what you know you're going to do, but you don't know how and when that's going to happen. And so the beautiful part about this was, Anna recommended that I speak because a speaker had dropped out and all divine timing. And so it was so interesting because then it was like, would you like to speak? And of course, my body was like, it's a full body yes from me. Now, it's funny because of the first speech I did, I wrote a speech and it was very intentional and there was a lot to it, right? And this time it was like my guides were like, you don't need to write anything. Have an idea of what you want to speak about. Absolutely. Like I'm not a person that goes in with nothing in my brain or a vision of it. But what they need, what the people in the room need will be what you speak about. And this is the beauty, and this is the same with this podcast, right? I always speak into the thing and you receive exactly what you need from this podcast. And I trust that completely. So only the right people will listen to it, right? And it always hits at the time you need it. I always know that. So I got up, I had a general idea, and it's funny, you'll think this, we'll go back a couple of days when I've originally got the message and the call and all the pieces. And I was going with my mum to her friend's place with, some of her beautiful friends and one of the friend's daughters and a little child who was so beautiful. And it was a beautiful women's circle, you could say, without it being a literal women's circle, having dinner. So beautiful. Honestly, the food was fucking delicious. Homemade meal. I was like, get in my belly. And the beautiful conversations that we're having around the table, which I think is so amazing. And it was just one of those moments where I was talking to mum in the car on the way there. Anyway, and I was like, I'm going to speak at a spiritual church. And she was so excited. And then she was like, what's really funny? And of course, this is the story I needed, right, to open up my speech. Because of course, when you start to talk about it in the universe shows you what you need for your speech. She was like, well, when you were a child, right? So I'll tell you the story because I think it's really beautiful and one that I haven't really ever told properly. So when I was a child, my parents owned the restaurant in Brankston. If you're from Newcastle, Maitland area, you'll know where that is. So I owned the restaurant downstairs and we lived upstairs. And so my mum, would be waitressing, doing all the things, running the business downstairs. Here I am upstairs, wreaking havoc, crying, being a normal child. So I'm crying and crying and crying and she's got the baby monitor on and she's like, I've got to keep working. I can't listen. So she turned the baby monitor off, right? Great for self-soothing. I learned that really quickly. And so, well, not actually, because I probably kept crying. But anyway, it was so funny because she would turn it off. Anyway, and then later on in the night, she would turn it back on, when she had a bit more space and freedom to see if I was okay. And so she said she would hear this gurgling noise. Now, I only made this gurgling noise when someone was patting my back, kind of like a gurr, like a delicious, like I'm a baby and I'm so happy that someone's patting my back, right? Because I'm like, this is delicious. And she said I'd be making that same noise that I would make when I had my back rubbed. And she'd be like, it was almost like it was a sigh of relief for her. But she said she knew and felt always that there were spirits up there patting my back, supporting me, and literally helping me to get to sleep. And I was like, of course. Of course, my whole life, I have literally been guided. I have had spirit guides, angels, archangels always with me, right? And they would put me to sleep and they would support me even as a baby. And I love this because it shows that my spirituality didn't just come overnight and just wake up and I was super spiritual. It was this beautiful journey where as a child, I was so connected, so free, so open. And a lot of us are as children. A lot of you might connect with this story. And then I went into a school system. And then, I went into a high school where we learnt about God. And I was always curious, but never really invested. And then I went into the army, right? And I suppressed it. But there were always these moments, like when I went to basic training and we'd go to church. And the reason we go to church is because the other options were that you either go to church or you clean. Ain't nobody cleaning. And at church, they had chocolate, which is fucking delicious, right? And we weren't allowed chocolate. So everyone's going to church, whether you believe, whether you're anything, right? And I always actually loved going to church anyway. I really enjoyed learning and, the scripture, but I never again got really that invested in it. It was always something that I believed in. I always believed in a higher power, but I just didn't really understand where that sat with me and what that meant to me. And so it was over my time of, being in the military, sort of like suppressing it, right? So pushing it right down because I was like, oh God, spirituality doesn't fit with the military, right? Which is quite funny because there are secretly a lot of people in the military who love spirituality. There's a lot that don't, but, if you get down to the nitty gritty of it, sometimes I'd have little cheeky conversations with people that wouldn't say it out loud to everyone else, but they talk to me about it, right? And so, because they understood that's what I believed. And even if I didn't put it out there, which I find very interesting. And so when I was doing this speech at the church, they were shocked, like I'm in bright pink. I've got my pink earrings on, not these ones, but, my crazy ones that I wore last week in podcast. If you watch me on YouTube, you'll know they're my iconic ones that I have in all my photographs. And it's so interesting because they were like, oh my God, she was in the army. Like, I obviously did not fit the picture or the mold, right? Which I find super intriguing. And I love that. I love almost like startling people and almost putting them in like, what the fuck? And there were some gasps in the room. Obsessed with that. And so then I spoke about how then I woke up, spiritually, had my awakenings, multiple, honestly. And some of them I didn't even realize were spiritual awakenings, right? And it wasn't really until I did Reiki and energy healing that I really opened myself up. And then I went into light codes and light languaging and all the things. And that has been the most transformational thing for me, is literally my light codes and the codes that I hold, right? Because I have these activator codes, I'm the catalyst, I'm the bridge from strength to sensuality. I'm the bridge to spirituality for people. I literally am the one who will activate your dormant codes within you to get you to that next level, whether it's business, health, your job, getting a dream job, traveling, whatever that looks like for you. And I'm obsessed with that. And the most beautiful part about this is that I hadn't really owned it, right? Like I had kind of had it in the background. Of course, I did healings, but everyone that comes to me is like, holy motherfucker. Even for coaching, right? I had a girl reach out the other day and just say like, she's still integrating the codes and what she has learned from me. And we worked together, oh gosh, months and months and months and months ago, probably start of the year or, and this is the effect I have on people. It's longevity. And this is why I talk about sustainability, because to me, the codes that I give you and the things I give you are things that you get to have long term. I'm not here for the quick fix. Although you may feel 1,000 times better, you will fucking feel 1,000 times better. When you have a healing with me, there is the residual, the effects that are long term, that are energetic, physical. If you coach with me, it's the literal thing that's going to take you there and hold the foundation. And this is the other piece, right? I activate the foundation so that you build upon that. And that's what gets you where you want to go, to what you want to do, to how you can receive the thing, right? And I love this too, because some women will come to me and maybe it'll be like a few months after they lose all the weight, right? But it took the activation from me to get them into where they needed to be so they could lose that weight. So they could take that next step. Sometimes it's the action with me. Sometimes it's the action that happens after due to the effects. And this is what I'm obsessed with, because I show women how they can have love, peace, joy, fulfillment, and the light just came on, of fucking course. That is what I give women, right? Self-love, literally all of those pieces, which is what creates the foundation for them to do anything they fucking want in this life. I give them confidence. I give them self-worth. They actually feel worthy of just in that moment, right? How do I do this? Because I've done this all for myself. I give them the bridge between strength and sensuality. So the masculine and the feminine. I allow them to have that beautiful balance and flow. I literally had a woman in a masculine who came to me so she could learn the feminine and integrate. instead of being with someone who does just the feminine and doesn't have the masculine structure, because I have that. And this is the other piece which I absolutely love about, how I get to see women shift in my world, is because literally, because I hold both, whatever they need, I coach both ways. So some women will need my feminine touch. Some women will need my masculine. And most of them need my queen energy, because I'm literally, the queen has the fire to say the thing that you need, but also has the love to love you through it. And that is fucking fire. And I had just not realized how fucking good I am at it, right? And when I went to this church, like, honestly, the people came up to me and they were like, the depth that you went to, because I'm fucking deep and I fucking love that. But the, like, codes that they received and how they felt afterwards, they felt amazing. They felt enlightened. They felt love. Because I give that, because I bring them back to that, because that is my frequency that I give to the world. And it is such a gift that I had just kind of let sit on the sideline. And my leadership, because I have literally led a life of leadership, not only for myself, right, through many facets, many things, but for others. I have led others. I still lead others. I still have people who work for me, even in business, right? Still in, when I go in and when I take PT or when I take things for army, if I go do a day, I still lead people. And I've always been a leader. And it's just the most beautiful piece, because I've always been refining my leadership, right? Because we're never perfect. Absolutely not. Like, honestly, there's been some times if I look back, I'm like, holy crap, I should not have done that, right? Because let's be real, at that time, I didn't have the knowledge, understanding, or the experience to realize that that wasn't the best way to go about it. And doesn't mean that's not going to happen again, right? Because we're all human, right? We're all learning. And I think that's really, really important when it comes to leadership. The vulnerability side is that we're going to fuck it up sometimes. Also, to the point, I remember back in the day, I've talked about this too, but when I was working with AIS athletes and I was taking them through something and I was the leader for them. And I remember saying, we did the first challenge and I walked in straight up, I'm there to help them also, because they're all individual team sports. So they're learning teamwork. And I'm there to, mentor and guide. And I walk in and I go, you know what, guys, I just want to let you know, I apologize for the fact that I actually fucked that up. We didn't win a challenge because I went with something. It didn't work and it was the wrong choice. And some of them had other ideas and I had committed to it. And I said to them, some of your ideas probably would have worked and I'm taking full responsibility for that decision. Do you know what that did? That meant that they started taking responsibility when they made choices. And they also were okay to be open about it, that they'd made the wrong choice. And when they had other people that made the wrong choice, nobody ever said anything bad to them. They said, that's okay. Thank you. Let's try and see what we can do better next time, right? Leadership is not about being right all the time. It's actually not even about, having the best ideas. Half the time you don't. Like, let's be real. And so it's about honoring the fact that you make a decision. If you fuck it up, you just be honest about it. And then you ask other people. And if they make a decision and they fuck it up, they be honest about it. And you start to build a culture where in that, we started after that event, we won every other fucking event. Why? One, nobody got upset with anyone if they made a decision that was wrong. And we all knew we were in it together. So we're stronger as one, looking after each other, than we are as individuals that have great ideas, right? And I fucking love that. And so me getting back into community and receiving these beautiful gifts and these beautiful opportunities, right? Right at the right time, because let's be real, straight the next day I have Black Friday starting and like it started yesterday, right? So this was on Sunday. I had this incredible experience. So I got to show them my gifts and I haven't actually put my gifts of light language out to the world or to 50 people. I reckon there was about 50 in the room. I didn't actually count. That's the biggest group I have ever done light codes and light language with, right? It's just not something that I have come out and just openly done with lots of people. I've had little groups and I've done that and I've one-on-ones. But it was something totally fucking different. In the room, my guides were literally all in the room. I'm like literally seeing them. I've opened my eyes. I'm seeing my guides do the work. They're in the room, around certain people. They're with me coding. I'm coding the whole room. And I only did like a 10-minute quick one because it was only I only got to speak. I think I was meant to speak for 20 to 30 minutes. I spoke for 10 minutes about that, or 10, 15. As the potency of my message was bang on. And I know as well, sometimes it's not about how long you speak, right? I believe that you'll know the right time when to hit off. And I did. It was like my guides were like, now we're going to heal now. So I did the healing after the talk. And we healed a little bit longer. I think they said about 6 minutes, but we ended up going probably about 10. So probably ended up fitting into that perfect 30 minutes, right? And it was so beautiful because old me probably would have sat there and said, holy shit, what are you doing? You don't know anyone in the room. I only knew my neighbor. I didn't know anyone in the room. How is this going to actually land? My whole body and soul was like, this is what we're meant to do. And when I'm coding, sometimes, I open my eyes to just see what's kind of happening, where my guides are, what's happening in the room. I'm not always, closed eyes, if that makes sense. And I saw a couple of women staring at me, right? They're looking into my soul. And you know what? Years and years ago, I would have been like, oh my gosh, they're staring at me, blah, blah, blah. My whole body and soul just stared back and was like, I see you. I see you. And I also see that you don't have to like this or be into it, because that's totally fine. And it's okay. There's a beautiful lady that needed to leave. And I remember asking her afterward, like talking to her afterwards, she came and spoke to me, and she'd just come from a psychic cruise. I didn't even fucking know there were psychic cruises, guys, but I'm fucking obsessed and I'm going to find out more. And she had said she'd been through a 3-hour healing, literally with Reiki, hypnosis, EFT, 2 other things I didn't really know about. Or something else. But anyway, 3 hours. And I was like, 3 fucking hours. I was like, are you fucking serious? That's a long bloody time. So she's still purging, right? Absolutely. And it was funny because I knew that my soul also knew that she needed to go and keep purging and coughing out of the room, because I was going to go so deep, I would have taken her to another dimension. She was not there. She needed to purge. And this is the other beautiful thing. Everyone gets what they need in the room. So those women who were staring at me absolutely received exactly what they needed. And they may not ever come to me or talk to me about it, right? It may never be something that they ever indulge in. However, I know they received exactly what they needed. And my brain did not get involved, because this whole shift of my identity right now is actually fucking wild. Like it's like it wants to soak in more knowledge. Like I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm soaking in books, I'm obsessed with these incredible people that have created such big success, right? And the old version of me would have watched TV and a movie, and I'm not saying you can't do that, because let's be real, I'll probably do it at some point. It's not going to be all just this, right? But when you're in this expansion and the becoming of the millionaire, for me, of the woman who holds massive rooms, who magnetizes so many opportunities to me that I don't have to do anything to receive them. I just am in my receivership era. That is literally it, right? That is the queen energy. You speak your truth. You are authentic. You do exactly what serves you. And you will receive so much from that. And this era of this queen of me, of who I'm becoming, deserves a whole new array of what I get to share and how I get to be. So I'm using Christmas or December and probably January, I'm going to wait and see what feels right, to allow myself to immerse in her, to allow her to keep becoming, and then come back and show you the new and the incredible woman that she has become. And it's through these constant receiving of experiences, through these beautiful pieces, that I get to share my gifts with the world. And it was interesting today, I was kind of looking at a few things, and I realized that someone asked me and offered me another army job, and I was like, absolutely not, because it's back in Sydney. And I was like, I left Sydney for a reason. I left army for a reason. But it was really funny because everything inside of me knows that I want to do this and serve people to this depth. Literally, it's like my whole body and soul is calling me forward. And I know this next iteration is going to be huge. And I know that the becoming needed me to leave things behind and let go and shed and step into this myself. And even to the point where I had a session with my mum the other day, and she had brought up a belief that, people right now are struggling with money. And I do not believe that. People can say that all they want, but they're just reiterating their story, right? And I would have used to have bought into that and been like, oh, yes, yes, of course. But they're not, because I'm watching women on the internet making 50K months. And where's that money coming from? There is so much money in the world. There is so much abundance. There is so much freedom. There is so much love, and there's so much peace. And the more money you make, the more abundance you have in your life, the more you give. And it was really interesting the other day because I was talking to someone, and it was like, if you made all this money when you're rich, because everyone now knows I'm going to be rich, right? So now everyone talks about it. Thank you. They were like, you'll probably give back a lot. And I was like, yeah. Do you know what the funny part about it is? That when I left army, I was giving to all these charities, right? And I had to cancel them all because I didn't know how this next phase of my life would look. But I was obsessed with giving. I was the person that probably gave more than most. And then I had to cancel them all. There was about six of them at least that I canceled. And it's funny because as soon as that happens, all the rich people I know give back. As soon as they make that money, they have the opportunity to not only give themselves the most incredible life, but give back and either create a charity for something they're super passionate about, or give to charities that already exist, or people, right? Or et cetera, right? There might be people in their lives they know that are struggling, or, different things, right? Everyone gives back in their own way. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's, you know what I mean? You don't know. But when you have the abundance to do that, that's all you want to do, because it's about sharing life. But I think a lot of us forget, unless we have the capacity to have the things we desire, and that could just be healthcare, that could be, delicious organic food. Oh, fuck, I love organic food. Like juices, like, all of these things, like going to the gym or having a gym in a house or having a house, and we own a house, right? That everyone has their own version of what this looks like, right? My version will be very different to your version. When we have that and we're comfortable in that, that's when we have the capacity to give more, right? Because we get to receive so much. We just want other people to know what it's like to receive. And I'm so blessed and grateful in this period of my life where I get to do that, where I get to receive on a bigger scale. And I also get to give on a bigger scale. So I'm so excited for 2026, and I cannot wait to show you what I've been creating, because that's what I'm also sitting in the bubble of creation for what's new for 2026. And I can't wait to share that and support all the people, not only like I have in this podcast, but on a bigger scale, and to more people, and to you even deeper, right? Because I will have new things to share, be with, and actually allow you to feel the essence of me and to receive the gifts that I would love to give you to change your life in the way that you want to, right? Nobody can tell you how your life gets to look. You get to hold the belief in who you're becoming to create the life that you want to hold. Everyone gets to choose what that looks like. Everyone gets to be with how that is, but you can have anything you want. Don't let anybody tell you different. Even if it seems wacky, even if it's crazy, even if it's the most wild thing in the world, like light language and you're coding in the bush. The other day I was walking in the bush with my dog and I'm literally coding. People, no one saw me, but I mean, if they did, I wouldn't have give two flying fucks, because I was receiving the fucking codes. The codes of expansion, the codes of peace, the codes of abundance, the codes of prosperity, right? And to receive more codes after my speech at the church, not surprising. I received more so I can do more, right? I had a profound impact on those 50 people, and I know that their life is going to be changed because of it. And now I get to keep doing that. I keep stepping into the woman who gets to keep doing this on a larger scale. And I don't need to know how that looks. I don't need to know where that is. I get to trust in the universe as I keep putting out into the universe and being the frequency and being the woman who holds all of it. And I know if you want that, you can have that too. If you hear this before the 1st of December, you can absolutely go and get my Black Friday sale. I also have Christmas sales coming up. If you'd like to give a gift of a beautiful, what do they call gift cards for Christmas? But the Black Friday sale is absolutely epic. If you want full energetic reset and realignment, I have an energetic reset bundle, 2 energy healings, light-coded healings to clear, to evacuate anything that's old, and then to bring you into the abundant codes of the new, and a beautiful booklet where you get to journal and allow yourself to let go physically and then actually see and look into the future of what you truly want. And also a coaching integration call. We get to actually put in not only the codes, but anything small or big that you get to shift mindset wise or, take action on to get you there. So it's fucking epic. And then if you would like a one-on-one personal healing to allow yourself to release and bring in the new, that is also there. So there's the reset bundle, and then there's also the one-on-one healing. So reset bundle is $333, a fucking bargain because it's normally $600. And the one-on-one healing is $111 and it's normally $150. So that's a fucking bargain too. So yeah, absolutely get in there. Otherwise, I have beautiful Christmas things coming up. Or come and follow me so you can just see all the incredible gifts that are coming in 2026. I am so grateful. Thank you all so much for listening to my podcast this year. It has been such a blessing to go through these massive transitions with you. And I cannot wait to see what we all create in 2026. And I'm so, so grateful for you choosing to listen to me and take the time to be with me and have me in your ears, because it's such a blessing. And I actually don't take it lightly. And I hope you've received, and I know you've received everything that you've needed at the right time listening to this podcast. So thank you so much. I love you. Have the most magical Christmas and New Year, and keep being unapologetically wild. Bye.